Today we're gonna share how we take care of the rattles in our van. When we picked it up, there wasn't a lot of rattles when we drove home from Ohio, but as we drive a few more trips down the road, more rattles come up. So we figure out a way to take care of the rattles. Actually, mostly my husband. I call him a rattle whisperer. Because he's pretty good at finding the rattles and fix them. So let's go over some of the things that we use to fix the rattles. So called like the cabinet clear bumper. You know how you put it at home, when you put it on your cabinet door and when you close, it doesn't hit the wood. This is some felt pad. It has the glue on one side. It's very thin because we do need different thickness. And this is like a furniture padding for the feet. Like this, it has the glue on the side. And also just another, what do you call these, like Velcro pad. It just for us to have variety of thickness so that we could wedge into the spaces where there's rattles. So first, let's talk about how to find the rattles. First, one of you would have to be walking around back here while the other one's driving, where you could hear the rattle, and the other person would probably just gonna walk back here and see where the rattle is. So let's say when we could hear some rattling noise right here, and it actually came from the TV. For the TV, wait, this is how we open it up. Wait, how do we open it? So actually, because of the mounting arm right here, the noise could come from all these knobs, or it could come on when we snap it together like this. The metal arm, parts of it will be hitting each other and it will make noise. Let's say you kind of have to shake it to see where the noise comes from, and just kind of wedge a piece of felt, in usually, wherever
the metal meet or wherever it's rattling, right?
Right. Yeah. You just put a piece of felt and then see and shake it again, see if it works. So that's what my husband did, and he also put some lubricants.
Yes, and I also tighten all the screws.
Yeah. So that helped a lot for us also regarding the TV. And we just noticed a new rattle by the door right here. We just know that it is somewhere right here. And what we found out is that when, let's see, because we're not driving right now, so it's hard to tell where, but we know it's coming from the upper part. So I'm going to go inside, honey.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tap on it and you will hear it. I'm just going to pretend that we're driving. It's like...
Okay.
Yeah, let's say when we're driving, the door will be banging the frame right here. Right, it will be banging right here. So what we can do is to put, first my husband tried to put this bumper in here, right on here, but then it's too thick. It was pushing the top of the door panel out, and he's like, honey, I fixed your door. And then I go, wow, that's good. But when I came, actually the door came out a little bit.
I got in trouble.
Yeah, so this is way too thick, but at least we found out where the problem is. So let's try a thin piece of felt. I'm gonna put it here. Actually, it is wide. So we're gonna cut that extra part off. Let me tap on it.
Still there.
So it's too thin. Actually, I'm gonna put another piece. over it. Let's try again.
Okay, almost all gone.
Yeah, I think that's good enough because if I put another layer on there, it will be too thick and it will be pushing the door out. Actually, now I have to cut up the excess part here. Oops. Let's put this back. Okay, let's try again.
Yep, good.
See, that's how we take care of the rattle. So now we're gonna show you how to take care of the rattle by the sliding door. Actually, the sliding door always cause rattlings for a lot of people. So what we did was we put some piece of
Hitting
foam
against it, right?
Yes, it was hitting like against the inside panel right
The two
here.
panels were hitting each other here.
So we're gonna attach a video on how we put this piece of foam in. We have a lot of rattling on this panel by the sliding door. So we used to put these rubber feet in between here. There's a gap right here. So we used to put them in here, but still they were vibrating. So we are going...
making this noise.
Yes, sometimes it's loud on rough roads. So we are going to try to put this rubber foam self-stick weather seal in between the panel and the door to see if that helps. So it looks like this. It has one adhesive side. So we cut a strip about a little more than 2 feet long to go in between there. So start from this end. Try to squeeze it in here. We push it down.
So basically we're pushing it in here so that that rubber piece here will absorb all the impact from this hitting the plastic here, and it should work. But we're putting it down below this so that it looks more cosmetically
Acceptable. So now if this is vibrating, it doesn't make that sound. Another rattle that we found out from the door is this shade. You know, when it's rolled all the way up, it's hidden behind this panel right here, and it was just, you know, hitting the panel like this when we drive. So what we did was we put a little the clear bumper. Either that or you could put this little one.
Whatever works.
Yeah, right? So you can just put a piece back on the back side of the panel here. We put another one here and another one here so that when we drive, the shade will hit those bumper first instead of hitting the plastic panels, and then it would just making a lot of noise. So that really helped. I love these bumpers.
Any more rattles, honey?
Of course. There's always new rattle come up. So there's another rattle that we could hear on this side, and we figure out that the screen is supposed to go up and down like this. So, but when we drive, it's supposed to either, well, I think the dealer told us that when we drive, we're supposed to have the shade down. But even when we have the shade down, the bottom part, we're just hitting the metal frame down here. So what we did is we put this rubber material, this rubber thing. What is it?
It's a
What do you
molding,
put?
some sort of molding.
Yeah, so it's rubber, it's soft. So even if we decide that we're gonna have the screen down while driving, then it doesn't rattle anymore. But sometimes we just have it up. When we drive, it does make noise too, and sometimes it falls halfway down. We're not supposed to leave it up when we drive, but of course sometimes we forget. So now what we do is we bought these window locks. It looks like this. And we just put it in like this. Right, honey? So that's why now we have these two in here just to keep the screen up, and it doesn't vibrate at all when we drive. Next. Actually,
This was our first rattle, right?
yeah, our first rattle, all of a sudden we just hear rattles here, but we couldn't figure out where. So when my husband was finally been able to figure out where, he has to put pressure. So basically, wherever you hear the rattles, you're just gonna put pressure on it just to see if it stopped. If it stopped, that means that's where the rattle is. You just have to wedge something in there just to make it really tight so it has no room to wiggles or rattles. So for this, we put kind of like a razor blade right in here. There's actually a gap between this round panel and the panel inside here. So once we wedged that in, that took care of the problem. Another tip for preventing and taking care of the rattles is by going around the RV, and wherever you see screws, just once in a while, just tying them down. Because even if they're a tiny bit loose, even you don't feel it, but if it's a little loose, the panels will rub against each other and will cause some rattles that you can't figure out where it's come from. Sometimes it's hard to tell, right? So that helps a lot too. If you could just tighten all those what do you call those screws. But thank you for watching. I hope these tips will help you take care of the rattles in your RV.